Hello everybody and welcome back to Glittered and Glued. So today I'm going to show you how I made that cute little cake box that I used as my entry into Erica at Scrap Diva 29, her 26,000 subscriber challenge. And so quite a few people asked me if I'd show how I made that, so that's what I'm going to do today. Now today I'm using the Frank Garcia surfboard collection just because I think it's super pretty paper. And I had it handy, and I've only used it once, and I really wanted to make something else with it. So let me kind of go over what sizes of circles and strips of paper that you need, and then we can just put it all together. So the first thing you're going to need is the actual cake base. This is kind of like the cake plate, if you will. I used a 4-inch circle die for this, and the great thing about this is if you're really good at fussy cutting, you could cut you a 4-inch circle. I am terrible at it, so I used some dies that I had. So I used a 4-inch die, and I did a piece of the pattern paper and a piece of cardstock. And I used 110 pound because it's nice and sturdy. And I'm going to glue these two pieces together, and this is actually going to be that bottom of the two-tiered cake. And then for the bottom layer of the cake, you're going to need a 3 1/4 inch circle in the pattern paper and a 3 1/4 inch circle in the cardstock. Again, I used 110 pound. And then for the round part of the cake, you're going to need pattern paper and cardstock paper. The cardstock, this is going to be your actual box part, and this is what's going to slide down over it, and I'll show you how all that comes together. And so this is going to be 3 inches by 10.5 inches, and this is going to be 3 1/8 inches this way by 10.5. Now the reason why I did this one a little bit, just a hair over the size of this one, is I want this to easily slip over the top of this box. So I want it to be able to slide on and off a lot easier than it did last time. So this time I gave myself a little bit more room to work with. And I think this will work out better. But we'll see, because like I said, I haven't put it all together yet. So we'll see how that works. Now for the top layer of the cake, you're going to need a 2 1/2 inch patterned circle and a 2 1/2 inch cardstock circle. And then for the strips of paper, you're going to need 2 3/4 of the cardstock, 2 3/4 this way by 8.5, and then this is going to be 2 7/8 by 8.5. So, and the 8.5 gives you plenty of room to kind of work with and manipulate, because what we're going to do is we're going to match this to that. So we're going to form that circle, and it does get a little tricky, but you know, and a little time consuming, but I think it's well worth it. The cake box is just adorable once you're done with it. So let's go ahead and start with the bottom of the actual cake base, and let's glue this together. Okay, so now we have the base of the cake ready to go. So let's go ahead and bring this out. First thing I'm going to do is, instead of starting with the bottom, I'm actually going to start with the part of the box that slides over the bottom tier. And I'm doing this for a reason, because I want to make sure that this is going to slip over this, and I've got some, you know, adjustments that I can make. Now, when you cut this strip of paper and you score it at a 1/2 inch, so you're going to score it at a 1/2 inch, and this is scored at a 1/2 inch as well, and then you make those little clip marks. You can take, you know, every other one out if you want to. I actually found it a little easier to kind of help stack on top, and you'll see when I start putting it together. You're going to want to make sure you do your 1/2 inch score at the top of your paper here, because this is going to be that top layer, and this is going to be sitting right on top of it. So, but I'm going to take that, I'm going to flip it over, because I want this to be the outside of my cake, and so this will be the inside. And I'm going to turn it upside down, and I'm going to start forming that into a circle around like that, and gluing a little bit at a time. So I'm going to start on this end, and like I said, I'm going to flip it upside down, and I'm just going to start gluing a couple pieces at a time, a couple of these little tabs at a time. And I'll start forming that circle. And like I said, this glue dries really quickly, so you want to make sure you start forming it and getting it in place. Start making that circle. But so it's kind of a good thing that it does that. And so here you can see when I'm ready to start gluing, I know it's kind of difficult to see there on camera, but I've got all these tabs that are going to start overlapping each other, and that'll just really make that nice formed circle. So here we go, and I'm going to glue a couple more little tabs, and I'm doing about 3 at a time, just again because this glue dries quickly and it just allows me to form it and let it kind of, you know, set up a little bit so I can keep working. And so you'll see I'm starting to form that circle. And I'm just kind of pushing in on it. And then I'm going to burnish it down a little bit. You want to use enough glue, but not too much glue that it's just glopping out everywhere. So far I've got a nice little smooth edge happening there. And then I'm going to take the next section. I'm trying to get this where you can see it a little bit better on camera. Like I said, it's kind of difficult to work with, but so I bring that tab down, bring the next one down, put some glue, and I do about 3 at a time. And then I flip it over so I can watch the edge, because I want this all the way to the edge. So we're starting to form that circle. Do another section. So you can start to see the little tabs are overlapping each other here, and we're starting to form that circle out here. Now I kind of got like a grip on it. I'm going to tilt it and just kind of squeeze a little bit and get some glue on each one of those tabs. And really work to finish the rest of it. Because now I have a good portion of it was already done, so it made it a little bit easier to do it this way. Set it down and start burnishing those insides. Any of them that need a little glue on there, you can go back in there and tuck a little glue in there. And now I'm going to peel that off, and we're going to finish this little top lid off. There we go. And that is the top lid of my bottom layer. So now we're going to want to make the bottom part of the box. And this is what's going to be sitting right on top of the cake plate, for lack of a better word. And then this is going to slide right on top. And the reason why I made this first is I want to make sure that this fits perfectly. So I actually use this as kind of a guide. I slide that down in there. And this is going to make it so much easier to put that on there. So now we've got it kind of formed. And I've got it just like I want it. I'm going to go ahead and peel that tape off and then even it out before I squeeze down, and then I can squeeze down on that. Now this is going to make it a lot easier for me to glue that. So I'm going to get real aggressive with it and go ahead and put all of my glue on there at once, because now it should be perfectly formed, and set it on top of this, spreading it out so that it's a good circle. And that's my top tier. Now, this you don't really have to worry about because you know you might have a little lip hanging here. I'm going to put some Pom-Pom Trim right here, and that's really just going to set right on top of it. And that's going to set right on top of that, just like that. I'll center it, of course. And it kind of looks like a little top hat. You could certainly make a top hat box out of this too as well. And now let's work on the top. And then we'll put it all together. So I'm going to go ahead and form my little circle here. And I'm going to use my top here because that's going to be my top of my cake. Kind of get it fitted on there a little bit. And I'm going to do the same process as I did with this. And we'll come back and put it all together. Okay, I'm going to show you a little trick here. So as you can see, I'm kind of getting towards the end of my top layer lid of my box, and I have some overlapping to do, but I've got these two tabs that really are in the way. So all I'm going to do is snip them right off. Again, I'm going to be using Pom-Pom Trim on the bottom and the top, so it's very forgiving. It can cover a lot of, I don't want to say mistakes, because it's just how you end up assembling the product. But it does help cover any things that don't look quite as nice. So I'm going to go ahead and glue all those down because I'm right at the end of my box and I've got good control over it. And now I'm just going to peel that little tape off. And I got my top layer done. There we go. Too cute. Okay, so now that we've got that done, we're probably going to run into the same problem. Is we're going to have some overlap, but we can cover that, like I said, really easy, because that's why I like to do the top lid before I actually like to do the base, because I want to make sure that that base is actually going to fit extremely well. And I can spread that out really well, get it good and in place, pull that back out, and get that tape down. So it really goes much faster with the base than it does with the lid. It likes to stick, doesn't it? There we go. And then I'm going to slide that right back down in there. That, and I'm going to glue everything down. I'm going over and under the tabs so that they all connect well together, not just on the outside surface. Alright, I think I got that done, and then that'll slide right over the top. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this bottom layer and I'm going to get out my bigger bottle so I can drop a little bit more glue on there at one time. And I'm going to cover this in glue. Close to the edge, but I don't want it to glop out. But even if it does, like I said, there's going to be some Pom-Pom Trim involved. So now my bottom's down. And there we have the what looks like a top hat now. And then I'm going to do the same thing with this. I'm going to glue this down. And now we have our cake. And I have a cute little bow I'm going to put on top of this one. Look how cute it looks. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I hit a little problem that I ran out of my white Pom-Pom Trim, and instead of just doing the bottom, because I really needed to do each of the top tiers, I did the bottom layer in the white because I had just enough of that, and then I had some of this aqua color that goes really nice with this paper collection. I wish I had actually had more of this. It would have been nice to do all of this in this aqua color because it's beautiful. I love it. I just did it on the top layer. Not perfect, not ideal, but not bad either. So it's, you know, nothing terribly wrong with it. I just would have preferred, I'm kind of a matchy-matchy type person. I would have actually preferred both tiers to have the same color pom-pom trim. But overall, that is literally how to make the two-tiered cake box. How cute is that to just put on your shelf for decoration, to store things. I put some handmade bows in there for her. I used the vinyl on a few of them, and then I did some glitter paper. So it's a great way to put some of your embellishments, especially some of the rosettes. I mean, it's perfect. It's round. You could do a couple of different sizes. You can always, you know, make your rosettes to fit inside each of the tiers and just stack them full. What a wonderful way to give someone some rosettes. Guys, if you have any questions, please let me know. I know that was really actually a really terrible tutorial. It's just honestly really difficult to do it on camera and see it. I don't have the best lighting. It's fine if it's down here, but once, you know, I try to get anywhere off base, so to speak, it's so difficult to see inside and see what I'm doing. But you know, let me know if you have any questions and I will be glad to answer them. And I will put the measurements to the boxes in, you know, how I made the boxes, the circles and the paper strips down below in the description box, so it'll be easy access for you. But anyhow, thanks so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate it, and y'all have a wonderful day.